I'm saying share it to the groups, and then we'll start recapping. What's up, people? We over here, Mob Ties Podcast. Give us a second, share a couple of links, and then we'll start recapping. We also got some questions that we're gonna answer that people sent to the group earlier. 1 second here. There's already 11 people in here.
All right. Sweet. Should go ahead and start.
Yeah, you could go ahead and start. I'm just gonna share it one time to the group.
Welcome everybody to the AEW Dynamite post-show recap. Here we're going to talk about the show that we saw tonight. Man, what a fantastic show! I'm going to go ahead and start us off with the very first match, the Fatal 4-Way between Orange Cassidy, Mike Boss, Speed Bailey, Mark Davis, and Ricochet. There's a bunch of talking points I got to go over in this matchup for the Fatal 4-Way. A lot of cool stuff happened. I want to start off just by saying I really laughed my ass off when Orange Cassidy gimmicked Mike Boss, Speedball Mike Bailey's kicks. And he was just doing it the Orange Cassidy way, doing the slow kicks. Thought that shit was hilarious.
Right after,
great spot.
right after you've seen the Mike Bailey kicks, is actually even more hilarious, right?
For real. And then the Hurricanrana from Speedball Mike Bailey to Ricochet on the outside from the ring outside. Man, that looked sick. That was a good move.
For sure. For sure.
What did you think about the match, bro?
I think the match was, fast paced, a great match. One thing I want to say is, there's been a few. I know like Ricochet was like looked at as like the ultimate perfect fit for AEW for a while.
Yeah.
But right now, Mike Bailey might be like the super ultimate fit in AEW. He like just seems like super confident, super comfortable in AEW.
I'm already becoming a fan favorite of his.
Yeah, even the crowd. I think that they're taking them pretty fast.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, I think he made the absolute right decision, jumping into AEW. But as far as the match was amazing. Nothing. There's really nothing I could say about it. As bad as it say, I love Orange Cassidy. I just felt that I was gonna be happy with the outcome as long as he didn't win, and that's not really a knock to him. I just kind of preferred to, see one of these other guys get the shot. The way that they ended it, obviously there's a few things like that could get like overturned because clearly you see that Ricochet kind of had his feet on the rope, but oh boy, the match that they gave us might have not been the match that we thought we was getting, but it's the match we needed. So we're getting Kenny, Speedball, and Ricochet in a triple threat.
Yeah. How'd you feel about the finish?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's kind of, I would have maybe preferred a little bit cleaner finish, but here's the thing. I'm not gonna complain about getting a triple threat with these guys. So
no,
I'm just
that's gonna be a good match.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say that you kept them both strong when I think that going into it I thought one of them would win. So the fact that they found a way for both of them to stay clean, obviously one of them could have not took the pin and one of them could have moved on, but they both won. And it goes on to the triple threat, which leaves it up for debate what's gonna happen in that match. So I would say overall I like the ending. I think it was a good quality match. Two things I do want to say. I want to honestly say Mark Davis might have looked the best in that whole match out of everybody.
He's came off strong.
I thought there was like
he
2
came off
points in
as a
that
good
match.
big guy. Yeah.
Yo, listen. I think there was like maybe 2 points in that match. Definitely one where he went on a tear where I genuinely wanted him to get the pin, even though I know it might not have gave people the match that people would have wanted. Definitely, maybe not the match for ratings or the way to go for a big a big pay-per-view,
match,
or stuff like that, big match in general. But I mean, I was cheering for him, and there was points where they definitely made me believe that he still has big potential as a singles wrestler.
Of
After
course.
watching that,
Yeah.
um, I mean, I know last week we was talking about that. We appreciate how they was pushing him strong, but I think we've really seen his coming out party in that 4-way match as a singles wrestler in AEW. I ain't gonna bring up anything before. I'm just talking about strictly in AEW.
Right.
Um,
No, he's being pushed right still, I think.
Listen,
So
so my honest takeaway that I took from that match was kind of we Orange Cassidy always puts on a pretty good show. We
yeah.
knew that Speedball and Ricochet was gonna be like the the showstoppers of that match, but I didn't expect that from Mark Davis. So I would say he came out that match, even though he lost, right?
He
He
looks
didn't win.
strong. Yeah.
Oh boy, he came out looking amazing.
Yeah.
They left me wanting more as far as him as a singles wrestler.
Yeah. I
Did you
agree.
have any other thing to add in about the match?
They were kind of playing with a Orange Cassidy injury. Well, I guess they're saying his bicep, but I think that just ended up being kayfabe. I guess you'd say it.
Right.
Uh, because he was selling it pretty well, and I was like, oh dang, is he actually injured or? Because he was holding his arm down and everything. So kind of curious of what comes of that, or if it's anything.
I
But
would say he's a very underrated seller.
yeah,
Like, cause I know there
for
was
sure.
times where they was remember they had him, they was overworking the crap out of him for a little bit. And I know there was times where he was there was so many injuries he was going through, and I honestly started
Yeah,
believing all of them, but I
yeah.
think he might just be a really good worker when it
He
comes
might
when it
be.
comes to injury aspect.
Yeah,
Before you jump to the next one, just so the
yeah.
group chat don't or the
Okay.
chat don't fill up, Mike got a couple of questions. You want to read them off? Can you see them?
Yeah. Let me get to him.
Cool.
All right. Michael says new women world champion. I guess he's gonna be talking about Megan Bain here, and we might get that at Dynasty. I don't know. Then Michael also said, "Let's talk about the Amazon goddess warrior Megan Bain." Tony Khan understand he screwed Camille over, but now he has Megan Bain and come Dynasty. I don't think
Yeah,
he screwed Camille over.
yeah,
Camille's on her way back. This was confirmed in a podcast. She was just wrapping up stuff with her movie, and Tony Khan said it would be interesting to see how she finds out who attacked her. So
yeah,
Camille's going to be back, but
yeah,
I don't think she was screwed over necessarily. But
yeah.
yeah,
Mike,
Megan Bain's a powerhouse.
oh,
Go ahead. Yeah,
she's a superstar. I mean, there's
yeah,
not that I can't even sit there and say enough good things about Megan Bain. She's
yeah.
literally like she's top tier right now. Doesn't matter if people think she's new. Like she's
No,
literally like top echelon talent. Um, Everything about her comes off as believable. She's just like I said, praises through the roof. The one thing that I do want to add in about Camille is I think a few things happened in that situation, and I don't think any of them involved them screwing her personally. Mike, you know, you my guy. No, nothing personal, no jabs at you. But I think first of all, Camille, I think they may have rushed her on TV to get her on the storyline. Not no sources or
yeah,
sources, just I think they kind of got her on TV because they wanted to get her on TV, and then
yeah,
instantly they also had to get her off TV for the movie that they was all doing.
yeah.
Not saying sources, just kind of looking at timelines. I
Right.
think what they did was maybe um start something and leave it where she could come back. And I mean, I think personally, I'm not saying they go this route, but I'm just telling you the the bricks that etched in stone for her to be the one to come back to dethrone Mercedes. Now, if they do
Right.
that, it was designed for that to
Yeah.
happen, right? If
Nope.
if
Yeah.
she just never, and mind you, like you said, I seen her support AEW on post. I seen, the podcast thing. I never thought that it was, they didn't know what to do with Camille, and in a month she's off TV and quitting
Yeah.
AEW.
It
I
wasn't because
never,
she did anything outside of the company, which
yeah,
most people are thinking, but it wasn't because of that.
yeah.
She was just
I
written
like
off because of the movie.
Yeah,
So
I don't think any of that. So,
yeah,
do we think she got effed or I don't necessarily think that.
nah,
You wanna go to the next one?
yeah. Michael again. AEW locker room needs to swallow their pride, come together. Only way to stop the Death Riders. If not, Moxley will retire with AEW championship. You won't see that championship again. Brother, you're preaching to the choir, man.
I
Yes.
mean, we
Uh,
haven't seen that championship in a very long time.
I know it's been
It
a
might not
while.
even be in the briefcase at this point.
I kind of miss it, man. I
I do
never thought
too.
I'd miss an object like that, but I
Yeah.
do. I miss seeing it on TV, and I miss people holding it like a actual championship.
Mm. Well,
And yeah,
I was gonna say I think that every one of the champions to an extent, that championship has different value to them. Like, MJF had his value.
yeah,
Um, Swerve and Hangman, it was more about like making it, like what that meant to them to get there. Um, Kenny was, they all have like Mox just has a different story and like kind
yeah.
of having the belt on isn't his story.
Right. And this is
Yeah,
his fifth time holding the
yeah,
belt, so
exactly.
yeah, he
So
he wanted to do something different every time, which I respect that.
yeah,
Yeah.
Mox definitely don't deserve all the hate that he's getting.
Nah.
Whether you like this story or not, we'll obviously touch base on that match in a second. But whether
I
you like
think
the story or not, he doesn't deserve all the hate he's getting.
no. I
But
feel
he
like
ain't.
he's
Don't 1 second. Don't
yeah,
worry, Mike. Though I promise you, he won't hold that belt forever. I
no.
promise you.
There's no way.
Yeah.
Alright, and then the last one was also Michael. Um, he says nope, I read them all. Never mind.
All right. So you
Yep,
got all those. Get to the
yeah,
end. And now
yep,
we can go forward, and then we'll read the other questions from the group that I got at the end. Don't worry about that later.
yeah. Alright, second up was, the Hurt Syndicate video package talking about how unstoppable they were, and they're ready to face the next contenders. Now, earlier in the group chat, somebody had mentioned that uh, Adam Copeland and Christian would be the right guys to take those belts away. I couldn't agree more with that, especially with how that match ended tonight. We'll get to that point later, but I could see it. I could see Hurt Syndicate losing to uh, Cope and Christian. So
Well, it would
yeah,
be. It definitely would be. I would say interesting to see how we could get there.
yeah.
Especially how tonight ended. We'll obviously touch on that, but I mean, my only thing with that is, do you think they'll hold the belts long enough for Christian and Cope to get back together?
I think so, just because they just beat the Outrunners, and I was expecting the Outrunners to win. But
Big
after
miss.
that, now it seems like they're gonna hold them for a while. So,
All
which
right.
I'm not against. Those are big guys, I mean,
Oh, for sure. I'm not.
yeah,
I'm not, and by any
yeah,
means saying they can't. I'm just saying, do you think they will? I think they
yeah.
could hold the belts as long as. I mean, realistically, as long as they want to keep them in the tag division.
Heck
I
yeah.
mean, they could leave the belts on them for a pretty long time. Shout out to the 54 people that's in here too. Any
Sweet.
questions you guys want to throw in the group chat, and we'll definitely answer as many as we can while we're on here.
Yep.
But
Or restream chat if you guys want to hit that up too. We'll
for sure,
we'll be looking at it.
yeah.
So yeah.
Um, but what do you think about what they're doing with them? Do you think that that
They're
they're good as a tag team, or you think that they should kind of keep the belts for a little bit and move to greener pastures?
I think they should keep you talking about Hurt Syndicate keeping the belts?
Yeah,
Yeah. I think they should keep the belts for a little while until there's like a serious enough team that gets pushed.
yeah,
I don't that doesn't necessarily have to be Cope and Christian. It could also be the Murder Machines, Brian Cage and Lance Archer.
definitely not. Yeah,
They're a
definitely.
serious team. They're big people too. So it'd
Yeah,
just be they need to lose the belts to a team that are like on their level, as far as
yeah,
the movements and stuff. Yeah.
they need to lose to a team that you believe can beat them.
Right.
I absolutely agree. And
Yeah.
the two teams that you mentioned, definitely believable. There may be a few other teams, but it's just right now. as far as being built up, I mean, Murder Machines probably right now would be leading the race if
Yeah.
Cope and Christian got back together. I mean, I'd love to see that. Definitely not against that.
Right.
I do also love what they're doing with them. I think they should keep the tag belts on. The reason why I asked is because I do believe they should leave them on for a while as well, just because um, I guess if you split them, just assuming and not saying this the route they go because you never know, but just say your goal is to have Lashley go for a heavyweight title, maybe
Yeah.
it's too crowded right there right now.
Yeah. They need to wait a little bit
Yeah,
for that.
so
Yeah.
yeah, so right now, like just say you could do something with Benjamin and
Yeah.
international, continental,
You're right.
TNT, and there's something he could do right now if they split them up. I just don't necessarily know what you would do with Lashley unless, like I said, what they're doing with the international, maybe it gets a little bit more prestigious in the next, say few months, and
Right.
that is a good belt for Lashley. But I think that the tag belts is probably the best thing to do
Right.
with it for now.
And
I like
them as a tag team right now, it's still fresh. It's still cool. It hasn't gotten worn down or anything, not even close.
agree.
So I think they should keep that momentum rolling with them as a tag team for now.
I
Yeah,
absolutely agree.
agree with you. So and then we had the TBS Championship match. Mercedes put her title on the line against Billy Starks, and I was very impressed with that match too. Actually,
Yeah.
Billy Starks held her own. She was impressive. She was real impressive.
Yeah,
It,
I mean, what is she, 20 years old? She came in
yeah,
there when she was like 18.
23 or something. Yeah,
I know she's super young, and I mean, she's definitely one of the people that I'd say probably being around Athena definitely has a big part of this. Is a
yeah,
big part of this, but she's so much better than when she first
yeah.
appeared on TV for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
I seen her when she first came. I know there was like kind of like Nick Wayne. There was already a little bit of talk about her, and I checked a
Mm,
few of her matches before she went there, and I seen she had talent. But she's I mean a million times better at this point than
right.
she was then. I, what did you think? Oh, actually, one thing before I ask that,
Yeah. So
did you see that one part in the match where I looked like it maybe they just was off page for like 1 second and she had Mercedes on her shoulders? I was scared for a second when the way that she landed. Did you see that?
so how Mercedes landed or how
Yeah,
Billy? Oh yeah. Well, you're talking about the corner
it,
move right
it was
there
like
where
on the
she
corner.
landed flat.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
it looked
yeah,
like
that was
she.
kind of sick, bro.
Yeah,
That thought something
I
might have
don't know if
happened
it just
too.
looked that good because it looked like it kind of looked like they nailed it perfect. But it also looked like it was like a second away from being like disaster.
It
But
could have been. Yeah,
yeah,
her head I think almost hit the bottom rope or something coming on the way down.
yeah,
But I mean, still, she landed flat too.
yeah,
So
that's what I said. It was like
yeah,
either perfect timing or
or
almost not perfect timing, you know?
yeah, yeah. I
But
mean,
the
thank God
match,
she's all right. But
yeah, for real.
yeah,
But shout out to both of the women in this match. Um, I think it was a very good match. I did kind of maybe expect like an appearance by Athena or
yeah, I was
maybe
too.
yeah, like um, something to build that up maybe a little bit. But I think even though the match a few weeks ago when Billy started popping up, it seems somewhat spontaneous. I liked what they did with it the past few
Yeah,
few weeks, and I think it was a real good match. Um, so I think overall the match did for me what I wanted, what I would
what
want
you
from it.
wanted it. Yeah,
Um, I liked that Billy had like a somewhat of a new look toward today, not too much, but a new look. Um, and Mercedes Gear has been crazy. She's been coming fire after fire.
yeah. Her
Um,
matches have been pretty good. I can't lie.
y-
Her. You can think how you want about Mercedes or whatever. You love her, you like her. Her match, she puts on pretty damn good matches.
I
Yeah,
forgot who said it online. She's allergic to bad matches. You
yeah,
could
and
say
that's true.
whatever. You could say
Yeah,
whatever you want. You could put just about anybody in the ring with her for the most part, and she's
yeah,
gonna do her thing and make you look pretty
yeah,
good for the most part.
yeah.
So yeah, the match, you know, We ain't doing star ratings or anything, but it was a real good match for me.
Yeah, me too as well. Another banger on a banger card.
Yeah.
I feel like this whole show tonight just had banger match after banger match after banger match,
I
which
would
is going to
agree.
make the match of the night kind of hard to pick this time for
Oh,
me.
listen, this is the first show I'm going into with no ideas. I'm
Yeah,
kind of trying to decide that as I go through them right now.
yeah, for
I
real.
didn't get to pick it throughout the show. Um, Jameson just told me nice jacket. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Um, Now where we at? The MJF promo?
Um, Almost. Before that was the Outrunners video package about the Omaha Mavericks.
Yeah,
So,
Omaha, Omaha.
and Truth Magnum said something pretty funny in that video, and it just made me laugh out loud. As you can only lose if you don't win, and that cracked me up, man.
The
I lost it.
unofficial. Yeah, it had me right when they said the unofficial mascots. I was like, oh no.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
I-
the outrunners are like just like the perfect homage to like old school
mm,
nostalgia
that late
wrestling.
'80s, early '90s
Yeah.
feel. Yeah,
It's funny that because from the minute I seen them, even when they just was doing like kind of pop-up appearances,
yeah.
I already was thinking that. And it's funny how like they just knew. It's like they leaned into
It
it. They
clicked so well for
Yeah,
them.
it's
I
like
mean,
everybody just knew the minute you seen them. It's like this is what you got to do with them.
heck yeah, and they're not disappointing with that. If
Oh,
I get a laugh every time, I'll keep
not
buying their merch, just
yeah, for
like the
sure.
shirt.
Fire,
Yeah,
fire. Yes.
dude, I love the Outrunners. I'm an Outrunner myself.
Yeah, I
But
also did you see? Remember, I want to say a couple of shows back, we was talking about we hope that they're locked into contracts like long term.
oh,
Did
and
you?
they just showed
Yeah,
it, didn't they?
yeah,
Yeah,
you seen it, right? Yeah.
yeah, it
Yeah.
did. That was
That
awesome.
Shout out to the Outrunners, man.
Hmm.
Turbo, Truth Magnum, y'all are definitely killing it. Um, we're looking for y'all to get gold in the future. We
Yeah,
know that
it's
you didn't
definitely
get it
coming
last
to you.
time, but hopefully soon,
It's coming to them.
for sure.
They deserve it too.
Yeah, they do.
But
Absolutely.
okay, and then it was the MJF promo, and um, you're gonna have to keep me up to date about the promo because I kind of missed some of it. I had to get up and use the bathroom earlier, so if you
I,
have any idea, I
I'll keep it
kind of missed it.
simple. MJF, same MJF.
Same MJF. Okay.
Hockey as
Yeah.
always. Um, Brought up Hangman a little bit. Pretty good promo. Um, wasn't nothing crazy. Wasn't really, nothing out the ordinary that we really got to sit and discuss for a while. Just a pretty good MJF promo. And what I got out of it is MJF and Hangman continues. That's
Yeah. Okay.
basically
Cool.
what I got from it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I wouldn't be mad at that.
Not
So,
mad at all. Not
no.
mad at all. Give me like a big stipulation match or something.
Oh yeah. They need a
Um,
Texas death match. Go ahead and do it.
yeah, for
I
sure.
think that's what they need to do.
Yeah, for sure.
And
I mean, any good stipulation match
yeah,
would definitely be good between them two.
yeah. That or another dog collar match. I wouldn't
Try
mind that either.
they
So,
gonna try to top the last one. I
yeah.
know a lot of
They
people
got
don't.
to.
I
Yeah.
know a lot of AEW fans, don't like the punker, but Jesus Christ, was that a good match?
That was a
That's
good match.
yeah, that right there.
My bad.
It's an all timer when it comes to AEW matches. It's definitely up there. So if they want to top that, I got no problems. I love to see it.
Right. And I believe having MJF in that match again with Hangman, they can do it. So
I
they
think they
definitely,
could top it.
yeah,
I think they absolutely could.
yeah,
Especially when people are saying things online about them. Talk about they're gonna be great once they learn how to become stars. They're already
they're
stars.
already stars, bro.
So
Okay.
I would love to see them get the chance to put on a big time match and
Yeah,
just kind of show people like stars like we're already there. You
yeah,
know,
they're already on top. I mean, they
yeah,
both had the championship title already.
yeah,
They're both household names for AEW.
yeah,
So
I mean,
Yeah.
one of them's accomplished more at like 26 years old than most
Right.
wrestlers do by the time they 35, 40 years old. So define star. I mean, I don't think
Yeah.
MJF needs to do anything to become a star.
Mm-mm.
Believe he was just in Happy Gilmore too. Shout
Yeah.
out to Adam Sandler.
I
So
can't wait till that one comes out.
for
But
sure.
yeah.
But yeah, you know MJF. He's gonna kill it every time he gets time to get the microphone.
Right. Okay. And then so after that was they already so I was expecting the AEW World Championship match to be the main event. Like I think a lot of people were, as I saw
Ab-
online. And
Absolutely.
but no, they had it like right in the middle of the card. So they started off hot backstage and worked their way to the ring. Pretty gruesome moments in that match, man. John Moxley got a little taste of Spike.
Oh my,
That stuff was
listen,
gruesome, bro. That
bro.
shot was gruesome.
Yo, I was hoping that was wasn't what I thought it was when I first seen it, but it
Yeah.
definitely was what I thought it was. And when
Stuck,
they started pulling at it, oh
yeah, it took
man,
the skin with it, and I was like, God,
it's like, look at I didn't know I was watching Saw tonight, but
yeah,
I
for
mean,
real. Yeah.
yeah, but the I I guess what would your opinions be on the match?
Man, I'm not trying to dog anything,
Yeah,
but towards the end of the match, of course, you saw John Moxley win again,
yeah,
and there was all sorts of interference, and I'm like, but at the end of the match, I'm like, what was the purpose of this tonight if it was just going to be the same type of finish?
you see this right here?
Yeah,
What eye to eye, bro?
yeah.
Like finish was
That's
just
what I
ain't
was
gonna
worried about. That's it.
yeah.
It's like what kind of like why? I mean, it was a cool match that it had some awesome spots in it for sure. A bunch of cool table spots and finishers and all that, but it was just kind of like the same thing we just got on a pay per view that we paid for. So it's just like I don't know, just
Yeah.
kind of expected something else, I guess.
All right. What I would say is this, right? First of all, I completely agree with you, and I'm gonna get to that. But before I got to that point in the match, right? I want to say, all right. First thing before I get to that, I think I have an idea why they did that. It's kind of like they double main evented. I think because for where they put the match,
Yeah.
because I think Bane and Stat is damn near main event.
Oh,
Like
that
it's a
was
main event
definitely.
for me. You know what I'm
Yeah, that
saying?
match was
So,
great
so next week with where they're doing 1 hour and 1 hour, it's like they split it
for
up tonight.
Collision.
It was actually the show. You see what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So it's kind of like an hour with a main event and an
Yeah.
hour with a main event. Just
Hmm.
to just kind of like observation. But as far as the match, I want to say all the way up until before any run-ins. I thought this was the exact match they should have had at Revolution, and I
Yeah.
thought that they was gonna stay and just give it a clean ending, or maybe something swift, you know,
Right.
and give us like kind of the ending that people kind of maybe they thought people wanted at the end of Revolution, right? Um, first thing, first face you see is Judah.
Yep.
I keep at get him out the main event scene, like then then 2 seconds later, it's way too much. That's the next thing
Mhm.
I thought. Said it happened again. Like, so I
Claudio
don't
and
know
Pac
if,
came out of nowhere.
yeah, like, and then you got, I don't know. Like I said, there's just, I would say just too much. That match was perfect, right? Should have just had a clean ending.
You're
I
right.
don't know if, I don't know if
Yeah.
it's just a problem with, because I don't think Edge got that problem that people's trying to latch on to him like he won't take pins. Edge, excuse me,
No.
Copeland has
Yeah.
just never came off as that type of wrestler or athlete. So I
No.
don't think that
He's not
that's
selfish at all. I don't
I don't
believe.
believe that neither.
No.
So I think that maybe it's to protect the wrestlers, but at this point, after that pay-per-view, you shouldn't have tried to protect anybody. You should have gave it a clean win. I think it would have went better. And
Right.
I think the match was pretty perfect up until we had, 5 to 6 to 10 other people running
Yeah.
and, turn into something else. Um, at the end of the match, I do. I want FTI to turn. Like I've been
Which,
saying that.
yeah,
Yeah, you know what I'm
they
saying?
you got kind of a taste of that tonight with
Yeah,
it.
because
Yeah,
I think it's a little bit overdue. I think that they need like a revamp,
yeah,
because they just kind of got stuck in standstill for a little bit, right?
yeah, right.
So I do like that they did that. But I just wish they would have maybe limited. Like I don't even mind the run-ins. Like maybe I would have just left the whole Death Riders out of it, right? And just had the Patriarch interfere, and it maybe would have worked different because he don't supposed to have them there. Now they're all there. You know what I'm saying? Doing the same thing. So it's kind of just seemed more like rinse repeat, and I would have tried to stay away from that. And that would be my only takes on that match.
You think they're gonna turn heel as a tag team, or do you think they're gonna split?
No way they split up.
No. Okay.
No, I think
Yes.
that they might play on Cash maybe not wanting to turn heel with him. But
And then
when
he
when
does.
when
Yeah.
he finally turns heel, Cash is turning heel with him.
Yeah. I can see
That
that
would
too.
that would be my guess. Well,
Yeah.
I hope they don't ever split up. I'm completely against that. Let me just put that
Are you?
out there. I'm completely against FTI.
Sometimes it works. Sometimes it don't. So.
I think it does sometimes. But it looks like AEW already got away with this once. Don't get cocky now. Like Fletcher and Mark Davis looks like it works.
Right.
I don't know how many tag teams you like genuine actual tag teams, not like put together people.
Mm.
Genuine tag teams that been together for 10 plus years. I don't know how many times you split these guys apart and they both make it after. As far
Yeah.
as
Usually it's only one. Right.
yeah, usually there's a yin and a yang. They both bring two things, but one
Yep.
of them is usually the charisma, and the charisma is usually what gets pushed. You
You're
see
right.
what I'm saying? So
Yeah. And
that's
that case it'd probably be Dax. I think. Dax, I think, has a little bit more charisma than Cash does.
I wanna say
As
when
far
they
as
do
Mike.
singles yeah, when they do singles matches, I don't even Cash Minor only did say 1 maybe less than 3 singles matches. Dax
Yeah.
has done a ton.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I think he's
His
clearly
singles matches are really good too, man. I kind of miss him actually.
yeah,
He
I
had a
think
couple on Collision when it first started. So
he could definitely make it as an old school brawling wrestler, singles wrestler. I
all
think
right.
I think for sure.
Yeah.
Cash, I mean, not saying he couldn't make it, but I would have to see that before I could
Yeah.
know what he would do. I haven't really seen him do many singles matches, but I do hope they turn heel together and maybe even join a faction, but like something that's like something dope, like something new, something fresh. Not like
Yeah.
um not rinse repeat. Just give me a fresh start with them, and I mean strap the belts on them and give them a real heel run and build up a tag team as a real big baby face, whoever you decide.
Mm,
And I think it will go a long way to revamping their tag division. That's just my personal opinion,
right. They could also be ones to beat Bobby Lashley and uh, Shelton Benjamin. So
for sure.
those are believable guys to do it too.
Yeah,
Yeah. Um. All right. Will Ospreay versus AR Fox. Uh, match was pretty good. It's a Will Ospreay match, man.
AI
They never
Fox is
miss. AR
pretty
Fox
good.
hit two every time. So, um, and of course, Will won via Hidden Blade. So it was a nice in between match between that World Championship match and the Megan Bain and Chris Statlander match. It was a good match there in between.
For
I
sure.
thought both of them put on a pretty great performance. So, you have any thoughts about it?
Um, I think my thoughts would be I think it was a good match. Um, I'm probably a bigger fan of AI Fox than a lot because remember he's another one of those lucha underground guys.
Yeah,
But I told you what kind of the guys I was
style.
watching
Yeah,
before. So as the more of them came to AEW, I'm a big fan of him. The one thing that I would say about him is before I get into the match or anything about that, I think that he's I mean, remember, he's trained a lot of wrestlers. He's helped Darby Allin. He's
Nick
literally
Wayne.
trained. He's trained a lot of these wrestlers that right now it's his probably a lot bigger than him, right?
Yeah.
Um, and in Lucha Underground and even now in AEW, there's like I always wondered like what is holding him back, right? And this I don't even want to like make this to sound as a joke, but
Yeah.
it's like get like some like in Lucha Underground they had like the army swagger, right? So he had the army gear and he kind of
Yeah.
ran with him for a while, right? And he wore that in a lot of places. Now it's like I feel like even though he's a great wrestler, he don't wear stuff that people are gravitating to. Could be
Mhm.
hurting him just a little bit, just an opinion.
Yeah.
Um,
Kind of got those camo colors, but the dark
yes, but
camo
even say
colors. Yes.
he came out and he just reminds me of like one of my cousins going out to the wrestling ring. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Um, and I feel like your look sometimes, and obviously your gimmick with that for the most part
Yeah.
sometimes.
He maybe just needs a repackage, but
That's but
yeah.
see, that's the thing, cause
Yeah.
he's a very special wrestler, and I just don't feel like he's made it to the place where I think he could make it, and
Right.
I would like to see a revamp with him,
Yeah,
and
for
just a
sure.
little bit more emphasis in his character, cause I do believe he can do it, cause the wrestling is there. So, with that being said, as far as the match, it's two great wrestlers. I think they put on the show. Um, I think they honestly could have got a lot crazy. I think they gave us the watered down version of their match. Because I've seen, we've seen these guys go crazy.
Right.
But I do think that it was a good match. Little sporadic, but I don't mind it once in a while. I'm not one of those people that complain about good wrestling
Yeah.
matches because it didn't
I
have.
mean, even
Yes,
wrestling stories, they sometimes they start out with random matchups. I mean,
yeah. So,
you can't
see,
just have a story out of nothing.
that's the
So,
thing. Like the stories, like the big stories and stuff. You want them to play out and get them to a big platform. So when it's like the regular weekly show,
mm,
I don't care if you give the crowd a couple of good matches with no stories. It doesn't bother me at all. So
mm.
not for nothing, I love the match. I'm a big fan of both of them.
Yep. Um, After that was the Mercedes backstage interview with Renee, and they again hinted towards Athena. So I believe Mercedes said, "Who the heck is training Billy Starks?" Something
Yeah.
along the lines of that, and of course they're hinting towards Athena showing up. So hopefully soon. So
Yeah, that was another one of those times I mean waiting for I was about to write down notes. Athena appears on Dynamite,
you're
but
right.
we didn't get her.
Nope.
I don't mind the build up, and you never know what's going on where she could be doing other things, whatever. But I do know that we'll get there, and I do know that Mercedes, I feel like is seeming like she got her groove more on the microphones in AEW. I know in the beginning, I'm not one of those people that thought she was trash on the microphone ever.
I think
But
she just had a little bit of stage fright for some reason.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think that you're
New
coming from
place. Yeah.
scripted to non-scripted.
Yep.
A bunch
Different.
of different things to factor in there. But she looks a lot more comfortable now. Her promos are definitely better. And
Yeah.
I mean I like what she's doing. Other than Athena showing up, I mean I enjoyed the promo.
Yeah. Me too. But yeah, they Athena definitely should have shown up or something. I wanted her to, but maybe like next week or
For
coming
sure.
weeks or something for sure. We'll
Yeah.
definitely see her.
Soon.
All right. And now the main event: Megan Bain versus Chris Statlander.
Yeah.
What'd
That's
you
what.
think?
Yeah. Um, I want to say that the match was real good. Outside, I wished, like you said, I would have preferred it be clean.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna sit there and say a million things good about Megan. I mean, we know what that
Yes.
is. She's amazing. I do like that. Her and Penelope came out together, kind of like officially
Yeah.
solidifying that they're together because it really wasn't. Remember, we was talking about that on one of the other lives.
Right.
We didn't know if it was like just like an accommodation or like something that was working,
Yeah.
that she was
No, looks
taking
like it was
advantage
working.
of, or if they was actually together. So
Yeah.
a little bit of clarity there is good. I think it would also be good to keep Penelope on TV.
Right.
Hopefully, you know, I'm not telling them to bring up women's straps and throw another lady with them, but hopefully she can compete for maybe another title. Even if Megan goes and gets the heavyweight title, maybe TBS or something like that. I
Yeah,
wouldn't
for
mind
sure.
seeing both of them with gold. Um, I liked the match. I liked that the outcome of the match. Probably could have got there a little bit cleaner. Um,
Right.
but I had no problem with what they did, and I love Tony at the end. Tony's
Yeah.
a wizard with the words.
Tony on commentary was
Yeah, Tony's
outstanding.
crazy. Tony's a wild one.
Yeah.
Mm.
Her one-liners just get me every time. They're
Like
crazy.
I don't know. Like, does she? I'm getting to the point. Like, is she winging these? Because I know that she
She's
probably
gotta
has
be.
like a collection of things she wants to say, but when she gets going, she's coming quote after quote after quote. Like, you can't really write all this down. Like, she don't have her phone in her hand. There's no way you remembered everyone. It's like she pulled every quote out of every movie that she's ever watched that she just has them at her disposal. It's out of control.
I wish I would have wrote down what she said at the very end on the mic when Megan Bain was on the entrance way. I can't remember it. Maybe it'll come back to me. But Chris Statlander looked pretty tough in that match, man. Uh, she she basically had that whole match won herself, and
Yeah.
for the majority of it, anyways. But she just came up short at the end. There's one interference by Penelope, and she got thrown out. So, and like I was saying, I wish she kind of still Megan Bain kind of still won clean at towards the end. Besides that, just one little interference, but
Yeah,
uh,
it wasn't big interference. It's just
yeah,
I can't look at Megan and think that she even needed any
no,
interference.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Uh,
Like,
she doesn't even look like she's out of breath after these matches, man. It's crazy. She's just
it's out of
she's
control.
she's a beast.
Yeah, it. I mean, the one thing that is good about that is I mean, Stat's a beast. So I ain't gonna just go over Megan, right? And
Right,
Penelope's amazing in her own right. But they kept Stat, somewhat clean.
yeah,
They could obviously with that little bit of interference, whether Megan wins or not with the Tony match, they can relive this feud because nobody necessarily won clean.
right.
So I don't have a problem what they did, but one thing I do think that you was referring to, there's probably two quotes that Tony said that you're probably thinking of. Do you want me to say them on the live, or you want me to text them to you?
Now go ahead, say them. What's
Alright,
there's a lose?
said, "My God, you're a big bitch."
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and then
I
I think
remember that one.
and then she said, "The bigger they are, the harder they come."
I know, man. I was
Yo,
about to.
she's
I thought she's gonna
like,
be say the harder they fall, like the song, but
yo,
no.
no. Every one of her quotes come from erotica. Like, it's not. They're not gonna be what you think they are. I mean, so she's definitely a lunatic, and that's why
Yeah,
that's why she's timeless. Um,
that's why
but
she's world champ again.
yeah, that's why they had no choice but to put the belt back on her. Did you hear
Yeah.
Excalibur call them two men?
No, man,
You hear
I didn't
that?
catch that.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna have to go back and catch that.
Yeah, he was watching it. I mean, the beginning of it, he said these two men. Yo, I was in tears. But that's all I gotta say about that match. One other thing that I do want to say, because we may have skipped it, um, Hangman entered the Owen.
Oh, that's right. We did
You
skip
seen
that.
that, right?
Yeah, yeah, I saw that.
Um, that's gonna be interesting. The Owen looks like it could be stacked this year.
Yeah,
We'll do a episode and break down our predictions
yeah, we
on the
should.
Owen
We'll
once the full bracket's done.
right.
Um,
We'll get
get
the
that
whole
out there.
bracket down and predict it.
Absolutely.
Oh,
And
those are
the
good.
only other yeah, the only other thing that I think that we may have missed, it looks like Julia and Amanada is going for the three-peat. Did you see the
Yeah.
three
No.
third match.
Oh,
Remember, I think Julia beat her the first time, then Aminata beat her the second time, and then they dropped the video package, which I was very surprised that Aminata was pleasantly surprised, I might add. But
yeah.
they're doing the third match. So that's interesting. Also, Julia Hott didn't say the house always wins. She said the hot always wins. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah, that's true. The heart always wins.
Yeah, switch
Um,
that up quick, huh?
Now that's going to be a collision, correct? On one
Uh,
of the slam dunk nights.
yeah,
Yeah.
they was kind of skimming through them so fast. I
Right.
swear I seen collision. I yes, the one Saturday, one Sunday. I'm not sure which day is which because they was just flickering through them. But I know 1 hour on Saturday, 1 hour on Sunday.
Yeah, that's going to be fun.
It's
I
gonna
guess
be
we should do our post show Sunday night then, if you can.
yeah.
That way we can just go over both of them in one night.
Sure. That's perfectly fine with
Yeah,
me, bro.
that'd be
Um,
awesome.
absolutely, and that way, yeah, because doesn't it's gonna be 2 late nights. Not worth. We'll just bang it out on one night.
Correct.
Um, let me pull one thing up because I know there's a few people. I know there's gonna be some that I missed because I was running in and out of the group earlier.
Mm,
But I do have a few questions. I'll read them off, and you can answer first, and we'll go
okay.
from there. Okay.
All right.
All right. So first thing. This is from Stan No Lee at Stan No Lee. Shout
I
out to
know
the
him.
homie. He's in the group chat.
Yeah.
This is one of our peoples. The question that he asked is, who do you see dethroning Mercedes as the TBS champ?
Right now I got my money on Athena. Um, or it could be Camille coming back. I'm not real sure, but I think the talk for the longest has been Athena happening at All In this year. That seems to be the big rumor, but that's also who I believe will eventually take over. We'll beat Mercedes at the end. We'll be Athena. I think she's the right person to do it too. Um, All In's Texas this year. Athena's from the Dallas area, so I think that's a perfect way for
I
them
think
to
it,
have her win it.
think it
So
definitely lines up.
yeah,
Um, I think it could go same thing. It could go both ways, but I think no matter what they decide to do, whether Athena wins that, Camille has to be involved. So if Camille
somehow,
isn't
yeah,
dethroning her, she's gonna cost her the belt.
correct. And
But
then they can do a feud after that without the belt. Yeah,
this is what I'm telling. But she would have to cost her the belt. Other
yeah,
than that, it like I don't see it would like just sense wise. If Mercedes drops the belt, what is I mean, Camille comes back, attacks her. She's not can't really get anything. But I get it. You could still work a story around it. Don't get me wrong.
right. Well,
It
yeah,
just would make more sense for something like that to pop off, like cost of the title. But
yeah,
I would say, yeah, my same thing is it's got to either be Camille or Athena. My bet
yeah,
right now, the way it's looking, would probably be Athena because
yeah.
I don't see her losing if that's the route they go for that match. If
Right.
they decide not to do that match, maybe we'll rethink this. But if
Yeah.
that's the match they give us, she leaves with the belt
Yeah, definitely Athena for now. If I was a betting man too,
for
it'd be
sure.
Athena.
Absolutely.
All right.
Um,
What's next?
all right, so let's see. All right, Russell. Russell Haddix, he's in the group as well. He's in a few of
Yep.
our groups, I believe.
Yeah, I know
Um,
him.
yeah, he said just a shout out to Russ too. Good dude. Always, always, good to
Y-
talk to.
Yeah,
Um,
always active too.
yeah,
Yeah.
and definitely has his own opinions and thoughts, which is not common nowadays. So I do definitely appreciate that he thinks for himself. Um, so he said just a regular good question. So why did you become an AEW fan, and why are you still an AEW fan?
Is he asking both of us? You or
You could go
me?
first, and then
I'll
I'll
go
answer.
first. Um, Honestly, I've been watching AEW since the very beginning in 2019. I heard about their successful All In, that first pay per view, and then they had the Double or Nothing. So I didn't get to watch those live, but when there's talks of them starting Dynamite, I started from the very first episode, and it brought me back to wrestling too. And I believe it or not, I think Chris Jericho being the first world champion is the reason that brought me back to watching wrestling. And I loved it. It reminded me of the old days, like old good days, like Attitude Era or WCW. It kind of was a good mix of both for
For
me.
sure.
And at the time, I'd already stopped watching WWE. I believe it was 2016 when I stopped watching WWE. It was getting real repetitive to me, and I was just graduated after high school too at the moment, and it was just something if it wasn't like if I was getting bored during the show, it just wasn't worth my time at the moment. And yeah, talks about a new company coming in and a billionaire running it who's a actual wrestling fan. And I'm like, that caught my interest too, because
For
it's not
sure.
you're not getting these corporate minds involved in this business, which sometimes that's not always great. Um,
Great.
so yeah, and then of course, no, it wasn't only Jericho that reeled me in. John Moxley and Kenny Omega. I had watched Kenny Omega before in New Japan Pro Wrestling,
Yeah.
and I always thought he would end up in WWE, but he ended up not. But I was really excited to see him in AEW as well. So I've been a day one fan. So that's my answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Um, I would say mine's is kind of just rolled into it. I want to say I wasn't watching wrestling in a while. Like I still dabbled here and there, um, with all companies really, not just one. But then probably I want to say maybe the first season of Lucha Underground. It that like really pulled me back into wrestling. From there, I kind of was just binge watch the seasons, but like on my own time. I wasn't on like a watch wrestling every day schedule. By the time I finished it, um, remember I got onto it late too. So by the time that they finished it, it was that first All In show when Rey Mysterio showed up with the Wolverine suit. And
Yeah.
yeah, I think he was in the main event, if I'm not mistaken. From there, all those rumors were swirling, and I
Mm,
just kind of rolled right into it. And I think that and same thing as you. And this is something that I just did. This is probably a big reason why a lot of people tuned into it, or started to watch it in the beginning, whether they want to admit it or not now.
mm.
Jericho.
Yeah. It
Like,
was Jericho. I
seeing
mean,
Jericho arrive in AEW, and you knew like, oh, this is a real company. That's
yeah.
Chris Jericho.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So I know now everybody wants to hate and think they could tell him when to retire and whatnot. Like I'm not one of those guys. I'm still a huge
No,
fan of Chris Jericho. He
me
can
too.
retire whenever the hell he decides to.
Yep. He's
But
earned that.
yeah, so just kind of rolled right into it, and I never stopped watching it. I've watched every episode from Dynamite, to Collision, to Rampage. A few of them, I did catch the day after, or DVR them. I didn't watch everything live, but still to this day, I've yet to miss an episode or a pay-per-view. Um,
Mm,
what what keeps me watching it? I so basically, I mean, coming into it, if I had to give you an answer, what dragged me in, it probably was Jericho and Cody, two big reasons. But
yeah.
I kind of just like stumbled into it. What kept me there was the wrestling. Like, it's not that I think every match is the best match I've ever seen, but when you got guys like Osprey, Omega, Jay White, Swerve Strickland, I mean, I could just really go off the list, even
Yeah.
naming guys that are not there no more, like the Pentas of the world and stuff. Like
Right.
they
They keep
just have,
hiring these heavy hitters though. Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then when there's Danielson's coming in and Adam Cole, like when was I supposed to leave?
Yeah.
So like
Right.
I that's
There wasn't really a time. I
yeah,
mean, apparently there was a time, I guess, because some people did leave, obviously, because
yeah, but
viewership dipped there for a minute, but that could just be anything.
well,
Uh,
I would say the viewership dipped, not but well, don't get me wrong. I think just like any startup company, remember they're still, you know,
Yeah, they're
not
fresh.
they're still
Yeah.
yes, they're still relatively young. Um, especially at that time when they started losing viewership and there was certain things going on and just say they, probably was responding to backlash they shouldn't have. And, I think it was kind of maybe wearing into the creative and things was getting a little loose, right?
Right.
Um, but I don't think that's why they lost. They lost the viewership. I think
No,
what it is just call it what it is.
they had a lot of people bad mouthing. They're starting to.
That
And
yeah, that's a narrative, right? But what I would say is this, and I try to stay away from this ain't gonna be jab to jab, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
But there was a period before AEW where WWE fans was walking out the door,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
They didn't want no parts of it. It was
I was one
boring
of them.
product. It was cold. It was stale. Um, it just ain't gonna say unwatchable because there's always people that still watched it and still probably loved it during those periods, right? But a lot of those fans walked away and seen AEW and went over to it and gave it a shot.
Yeah.
Um, which I think inevitably, which is good for business, made WWE work harder, right?
Well, yeah, that's
And then
apparently, yeah,
WWE started getting better.
yeah.
The minute that they started getting better, I think those fans was already they was ready to go back from the minute they left anyways. It's like they broke up with a girlfriend,
Yeah.
but when they was leaving the door, they really wanted to go back anyways. So the minute the door
Yeah.
was open again, they went back. You know,
I,
I,
I'm not
I
gonna
also
lie. I've
think
tried going back and rewatching it. That's still to me, it's still some of the same stuff. I'm having a hard time getting into it. So
it's
every once in a blue moon, I'll try to turn on Raw or something. And
I
yeah,
I'll start telling you when there's things that I enjoy. It's up and down for me. There's
yeah,
definitely like things that I enjoy. Like I'll never not enjoy seeing Rey Mysterio come out. That's my
yeah.
favorite of all
That was
time.
a childhood
I
favorite of mine.
still like
Yeah,
Rollins kind of going loopy sometimes, but I'm still a big Seth Rollins fan. I love Bianca Belair. I love the Street Profits. So there's like a more watch certain things and into certain things for the talents and the ones I like.
yeah,
But I know during that time they ran a ton of people off, right? But
hmm
a lot of those people was willing to come right back, and I think a lot of people also hate watch AEW. And I ain't talking about
yeah,
giving you the view. I'm talking about they going on pirate sites, they
yeah.
watching it to talk shit, and they making sure you not getting the view. You see what I'm saying? So let
How
alone
else would they know what they're doing? Yeah,
that you're not exactly
yeah,
every if there's 2 million people watching a different show weekly and over 1 million of y'all are talking about a show you don't watch. How's that possible?
yeah.
Pirate
Hmm.
sites is popping right now.
Yeah,
Trust
them
me.
pirate sites are off.
Yeah, it's like look at it's ridiculous. But yeah, that's that's all I would say about that. And Russ, we ain't throwing jabs at WWE. That's not what it's about. Everybody got opinions. Pick and choose. But this is strictly an AEW podcast, and that's AEW. AEW is took. That's what he does. You know what I'm saying? Um, now I got like one more question, bro. Right, and then we
Okay,
could freestyle a little bit if you're down. And just any other
sure.
topics you want to get to. So what we're gonna do right here is we got nope, we don't need that one. All right, this actually is a good question for what we was talking about earlier, and I think we actually don't even need to read that. We already asked that. One second. Nope, I want to avoid that type of question. We ain't gonna do that one. All right. When Mox loses, this one's from at the real Robbie 84, another member of our group chat, good people.
Good.
When Mark's losing, is he gonna feud with the Death Riders or are they all going down together? That's a pretty good question.
Yeah, that is a good question.
I didn't honestly never thought about that. I seen it earlier. I had to take the picture and remember it. That's what I was going through to find it.
I'd like to see them go down together and then just disperse like their own separate ways. Like just like yeah, I don't want to another like the group turns on the leader type situation. I think if they all go down together, that'd be interesting. So,
Yeah, I don't think they have the. I mean, who would you, if they all turned on him? Who would be the leader?
John Moxley's the leader.
No, I know, but I'm
Oh,
saying if they all turned on Moxley, like who would
uh,
take the lead of the group? It wouldn't work. I don't think.
Willer,
Yeah,
maybe.
that's that. Oh, yeah. Listen, but I I would say same thing. They gotta go down together. Would be my guess. But if somehow that isn't what happened and they somehow decide to jump him,
Mm,
like you said, you just gotta disband the gang. Like
yeah,
jump him and move on. Um,
right.
who do you think outside of Moxley? I guess we'll freestyle a little bit, so we'll stay on this topic.
Yeah.
Who do you think outside of Moxley? And what X? I guess we could X out Marina, because
Mm,
she ain't going for the heavyweight title anytime soon,
no.
unless it's the women's
Um,
one.
I,
Um,
I see Claudio doing very well on his own.
Babyface or heel?
I think it would be cool to see him babyface again. Yeah,
I think the fans like him.
yeah.
Um, what about what about Pac?
Bach,
Pac. What would you
um,
like to see him do if they ever did disband?
go back to being the bastard, uh, the one just on his own. I've been rewatching a bunch of the older Dynamites on Max, and
Go by himself.
the Pack is all over those shows, man. And he needs to go back to that. So,
Remember, like you
I
remember the
think he'd
beginning.
be a good heel. Yeah.
Do you remember the early AEW stages when he beat Kenny clean?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, we need that guy back. And as the bastard, like that, the bastard gimmick, I think is
Yeah.
it it got a little bit of the Jon Snow to him. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
Game of
yeah.
Thrones.
Yeah, for sure.
So I do like the bastard gimmick. But I would like to see him. If I was gonna push one of them, it'd be him. I'd love to see him go on a tear. I also wouldn't mind seeing Claudio go for the international title. I think
Yeah,
that
one of
that
those
title
or the
kind of falls
TNT. Yeah. Yeah.
just 'cause he's an
But
international guy. So I feel
and
like
then I think Wheeler has a good potential to be a rising star too. Because
yes,
before he joined the Outrider or the Death Riders, I mean, he was doing pretty well on his own. He used to be like one of the most cheered for
yeah,
wrestlers.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that he just needed. That was the thing that I was talking about last time, and I didn't want people to get confused. Like I'm like bad mouthing him. He's a
Mm,
great wrestler. I just don't think that this group works for him, just because it's too much star power. Like I feel like he's miles behind and has to run to catch up the guys that are walking. You know what I'm saying? Like before, when he was being built up and being built up the right way. Um, I think that they could have kept doing that, and then they had few things going with him that I really liked. This isn't one of them. Like I
and
don't I don't like this group with him at all.
he looks pretty weak, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and then
He's hurt.
then it kind of is like up and down too, as far as he's kind of all in with them one week, but then the next week they're kind of like bullying him. Then he's
Yeah,
all in with them, or like then he has to help them, but then he doesn't want. It's like kind of feel
pretty
like
much back and forth.
yeah, like I think even if the Death Riders was to stay together, I think it's time to get them out that group regardless.
Yeah, correct. I think so too. I've got AEW replaying in tonight's
Nice.
episode,
We
and it's
got
Will Ospreay versus AR Fox right now. So
yeah. See, that's that. Now look at AI Fox's gear, right? Now
yeah, it's all black,
don't get
solid
me
black.
wrong. I like it, right? But I just don't think that that's something that like I just think that if he had a more appealing you know wrestling gear with a little bit more direction with his character, I mean, I think they would look at his wrestling more. I think the way they look at him is just like he's like a an amazing wrestler, but his like uniform is kind of create a character, like
Yeah, I
level
know. It's
one.
real kind of
You know what I'm
plain.
saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I just think he needs a little bit of work, and I think that he's probably a guy that people are gonna be wondering where he came from, and all you did was change his gear up. It's like, bro,
Right.
he's been there the whole
Just
time, right in front of you. He's been
yeah.
amazing the whole time.
Just maybe just repackage him like we're saying.
Just repackage
That would
him.
work for him.
Yes, sir. And just so you know, we got 90 people on the live stream watching too. Shout out to all
Awesome.
90 of you guys.
Thank you all.
Yeah, definitely. We appreciate every one of y'all. It's only gonna get bigger and better from here. Keep sending questions. Also, same thing we said before. If anybody ever wants to feature in on the live, shoot a DM to one of us. And did you have any specific things you wanna shoot off the hip with?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Um, who would you want to see pushed in 2025?
Switchblade
Switchblade.
for the
Yeah.
for the males, and for females, I got I guess we can't say Megan Bay no more. She's looked like
Yeah,
she
she's up
pushed
there.
to the moon.
Yeah.
Um, I'm gonna say there's two women that I want to see push. Um, one, and I have ideas maybe of a few things they could do too, but I really want them to push Red Velvet. I know that
Oh yeah.
I know she does have the Ring of Honor women's TV title. But I mean, she's another one, like she's ready. She's she
Yeah.
she could go up to AEW. Just gotta find the room for it. So I would like to see her push. Um, Even if it was just push her to the top of Ring of Honor and give her that title for a while. Definitely wouldn't mind seeing that as well. I mean, the second person, it little complicated because health could play a situation with this, but whenever Sky Blue comes back,
Oh yeah.
I would
For
love to see
sure.
her push. That would
Yeah.
that would be the other woman I'd like to see.
I was there live when she hurt her leg. I was
Out.
there watching it,
Damn,
and
that's
it was
tough.
a pretty nasty fall. She was
Yeah,
going up
and
against Hikaru Shida,
it
and
didn't look
she
like.
landed on the outside, and I guess messed up her knee or something, or
Yeah.
leg or knee. But she had to be kind of carried out.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Huh.
that was Texas last year. So
I hope that she's back soon.
yeah, me too. It's been a while. I hope she's. I think she's due for a return. I
Cool.
believe she's medically cleared, actually.
I think I did see something like that, but wasn't 100% sure. But I hope that she comes back and she gets pushed when she comes back. What about you? For both male and female,
They got to push Nick Wayne as
gotta get him
far
out
as
that
like
group first,
upcoming
right?
new wrestlers. Do what?
Get him out the group.
Yeah, come out of the group. I like how he stepped to Christian
Yeah,
last week, and yeah, and his song is very catchy. I like his W thing that he does.
yeah,
I think he would have good charisma if they give him some more like mic time or promo.
yeah.
Um,
I agree.
and he's very young too, so I'd like to see them give Nick Wayne a good singles run this year.
I definitely ain't opposed to it. Like I
Yeah,
said, that's the perfect type of talent to
yeah,
build up the right way, and start him at a point and don't rush him up anything,
yep,
and just get him where he needs to be. Give him a nice little mid card titles run and keep pushing him.
yep.
I
Just a
I
match
agree.
at a time. Just
Yeah,
keep them up. And then
sure.
as far as ladies go, um, trying to think. I like Anna Jay. I'm always a big fan of Anna Jay, but we hadn't really seen her in a while. I
I
just
think
hope she
that
comes
she
back
might,
soon.
yeah, over
Yeah,
over a little bit of either. I mean, I hope she's not injured. Um, because remember we haven't seen Jungle Boy neither.
yeah.
So who knows? They could have just
Hell
took
yeah,
some
that's
time
true.
off.
They could be
Um,
like on vacation or something. Yeah,
yeah, like it could totally be something super normal. Like they just decided to take 2 months off, and Tony gave it to them. But I just same thing. I don't want to see them overexposure and like rush title shots. Like I
right.
wish
Let
that
her build up a little
yeah,
too.
I just wish that that excursion with New Japan, when she came back, I just wish there was no title shots involved. So maybe like right
Yeah.
now, like around this time, and she just kept piling up wins because she clearly got a lot better in the ring. Um,
Yeah.
she got, I mean, way better worker when she came back. Her hits more believable. A
Yeah.
couple new moves. I just think that kind of forcing her and putting in title shots that, I mean, kind of just call it what it is. We knew she wasn't winning. Didn't do her no favors.
Yeah. And I guess one more. Um, Camille, whenever she comes back, I want to see her get a big push as well.
I think she'll get hers.
Yeah. I've I'm a big fan of the Brick House. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Huge fan.
Yeah.
Um, one other thing that I was gonna say too, when you was hold on one second. Let me back up because I lost my train of thought. On the live, lost my train of thought. Oh, with the Camille thing, she'll definitely get her push. I think Anna Jay would definitely get her push.
Yeah.
Um, but as far as new belts. This is what I was gonna say. See now we're on the line of women because this was the other question I had in the back of my head. Um, when do you think that, or when or if, when or
Mm.
if do you think we would get women's tag titles? Do you think we will, or
I,
do you think we won't?
so they kind of already do with ROH, but not AEW. I think maybe they'll bring AEW ones, but I think they really need a TV deal for ROH so they can kind of separate the roster a little bit better, and then we can go from there. And then I'd be able to give a better answer on that. Either tag titles or maybe like a women's United States Championship belt or something. I think that would be cool.
So what if you had the vote? Would you go for women's tag straps, or would you go for a women's mid card title?
For now, I think I would go for the tag team straps. Just because we do have the world championship and the TBS title, so
Yeah.
we do need that dual championship.
True,
Yeah,
true. Yeah, I don't I would agree. I would say that um the only well, I guess if they made like a women's international title, it could
yeah,
work because you could have the like the traveling title, so kind of similar to what the
the
men's international
international.
was supposed to do.
Yeah,
But I think at some point they need to have like we've kind of seen it already, but I think that when there's more of a solidified roster split, like more of a collision roster, a definite ROH roster of its own, more of a dynamite roster. Another women's single title would probably make more sense. But right now they could probably do the women's tag titles. They just would have to before they shot, or threw them out there. I would just like to see a little bit more emphasis on actual women's tag teams. Cause like outside of maybe like the Renegade Twins and like a couple other maybe like small portion, there's women together, but I wouldn't
right.
necessarily say that they're tag teams.
There's a there's the potential for it though.
Yes,
Yeah,
correct. Absolutely.
and there's a roster for it. We definitely have
Oh,
the roster.
that's not a
Yeah,
question. I would just like to see it form like if they kind of had Almanada and Dave kind of flirting like they're gonna be together. Um, that could be one. You got Penelope and Megan, obviously. Um, you got Deanna and Taya. There's definitely ones. But like I
yeah.
said, these like I would say that they haven't worked enough tag matches for us to actually look at these teams as tag teams. So I would say at least implement more women's tag matches before you throw them out there. Um, don't rush it. Get tag matches, and we barely see women's tag matches. I think that would kind of defeat the purpose. Get the ball rolling. But I think they could. I think they could pull it off. Any
All
other
right,
thoughts?
I'm hitting up the group chat right now. Gonna ask if anybody has any questions.
Go ahead. I would jump in there too. My phone's dead as hell.
Yeah, man. Like ever since we got this group going, it's what is there like 70 people in it or something?
Yeah.
My
And
phone's going off like all day, and my phone is just dying. Like my battery's drained.
yeah, shout out to the group. Y'all killed my
Yeah.
phone like 4 times today.
Yeah.
Literally crazy.
All right. Wait a couple seconds, I guess.
No,
See
right.
if
I think
anybody
I
has.
might have some more on my phone too, but I got so much stuff in there. Just hold on one second. Yeah, got that. Got that. That's, I think we answered that earlier, right? When do you think Camille will return? Yo, check your mute.
Hello. All right.
Yeah, there you go.
No, I was saying exactly. I don't know exactly when she'll be back, but it's going to be pretty soon because the movie's done, and uh, Tony Khan had mentioned that her story will continue pretty soon. So hopefully next couple of weeks or maybe about a month. I don't know, but it's going to be pretty soon.
My guess, I mean, it could be any day, really. But
Yeah.
my guess is if we get that verse, if we get that Athena match announced soon, she returns during that match. I don't even think
Yeah.
there's no reason to rush her.
All right.
Have her return during the match, reset the new title run, and then she starts her feud fresh. Like, I mean, they obviously could bring her before then, but I mean, if they bring her back, I mean, then wouldn't it kind of make you feel like Mercedes should expect her to cost her the title? Or they would
Maybe.
have to get into some, thing
Yeah.
before then, which would kind of have her looking over her shoulder for her. I think that just Camille coming back during that match at the moment to cost her that match
It
is
makes me,
probably the perfect time.
it makes me also think that maybe Mercedes wasn't the one who actually attacked Camille. So, because it seems like there's some story conflict
Yeah.
having her in the picture right now with Mercedes, and then that always could be put on. That can always come back later.
Well,
So I was thinking maybe somebody else attacked Camille.
Megan,
Yeah,
she attacked everybody
maybe.
else.
I don't know. Maybe.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
I'll take that feud. We
Yeah.
could we could go with that. Right? So I mean, I do believe she'll be back soon. But like this, I would say as a betting man, she'll be back at the latest by All In or
Oh yeah.
before,
I
potentially
was I was
before.
gonna say like Dynasty or Double or Nothing at least.
Yeah, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I'd just say that that's at depend like I said, depending on because she could have other ventures, she could have a bunch of other stuff going on, she could be training, who knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
But I would just say she'll definitely be back in time to cost Mercedes the title. So
Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
Oh, I don't have any questions. So,
Man, I've run off a few of the things that I have from
oh,
before. You could shoot them on the live. I'll save some of them for the next recording we do. But let me
sure.
post some. Let's post some things up. 1 second. All right. All right. So let's let's ask these things. We brought up ROH, right? When do you think, or just if you had to throw a dot out there, right? When do you think ROH will get a TV deal if they get one?
Well, Chris Jericho had kind of teased it a couple months ago. I don't know if you remember, like on Dynamite, he was teasing
Yeah.
that they had a ROH deal, and I was thinking it was going to be pretty soon because they put the world title on Jericho. So I was thinking it was going to be around that time. I'm not sure what's the holdup is. Maybe they're still working on a deal. Who knows? Yeah, at this point,
Yeah.
it's kind of long overdue. I think. I mean, just throw it on like YouTube or something. Have like an actual show. Like,
I mean, I have a few ideas on probably why he didn't because it did come out that he turned down a deal, or he has been offered a few, not
Yeah, the
same money, or
CW. He
yeah,
turned down the CW. So
yeah, before
NXT.
NXT, they
Yeah,
reached out to him, but and not to say that they reached out to knowing they had NXT, because NXT thing could have came way later, but they definitely
yeah,
reached out to him and was turned down. Um, but the thing is this, he's always said how much he's like, really likes his partnership with Warner Brothers Discovery. Um, as much as people hate to admit it, they show AEW praise all the time. They went out their way to say it out their own company's mouth. They're super happy with AEW. But yet
yeah.
tomorrow y'all go on Twitter and someone will argue with you. When did they say that? It's like,
They
when did they promote
like, I'm
AEW?
gonna
I
have
don't know.
all these things saved in my phone, like,
Yo,
bookmarked.
go
Just
to go to Stream on Max,
do it
go to their page,
yourself.
and look how many times they
Yeah,
they post the AEW wrestlers. Go on their page. They're in my recommended. And
yeah,
so
and
I
you can
see it
figure
all
their
over it.
yeah, you can figure their current viewership just
Yeah,
based off the polls that we
yeah.
take.
So certain things with that is just silly.
Yeah,
But what I would say is there could, because remember, the streaming on Max is still somewhat new.
yeah,
We don't know if Warner Brothers told them, look, if you could do a certain amount of numbers, we'll just put Ring of Honor on Max. Now, if
mm,
that's a possibility, there's no reason for him to sign another deal.
oh, yeah,
Like, so
maybe.
yeah, so I don't know, because it seems like he got a good partner,
Yeah,
and he probably just gotta, you know, show his value, um, to just get more leeway. Like, he might have even said, look, I'll get rid of Rampage. This could have been part of the reason why he got rid of it. You know what I'm saying? So there's just a lot of things that we don't necessarily know about. Um, but I think that his game plan, if I had to guess, is he wants to get Ring of Honor on Max. That's
yeah,
probably what he wants to do. So sign
that'd
in,
be awesome.
yeah, it would be awesome for everybody. And just sign into a totally different business partner for probably a number that he don't want anyways, that he doesn't need, probably just doesn't make sense realistically. So that would
Oops.
probably be probably be my guess on that. I do believe that they should use it. I think NXT is probably moving towards the third brand right now, but I think that Ring of Honor should be used as the probably the developmental brand.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Which it kinda is right now. But
Yeah, and I think he kind of was saying it before that Ring of Honor he thinks would do better under the AEW logo. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Which,
I heard him say that too
yeah,
before.
so I
Yeah,
and people kind of like went batshit, but I think what he's saying is, look, I need to like I'm trying to bring the 600 guaranteed thousand that watch on TV and whatever's on Max that people want to debate or not. So I'm not throwing numbers out there. Nobody watches on Max supposedly.
yeah, that's what
Every
they'll
Twitter
say.
poll, Max is winning.
Yeah,
But they're not real people. It's not real statistics, I guess. But I would just say that that's probably a part of it. You put it under the AEW brand, AEW Ring of Honor, um, developmental brand. You get it on Max, you should at least be able to get like probably a bigger following than Ring of Honor ever had, honestly.
yeah,
So if we're being realistic, and that's not a knock on Ring of Honor. I absolutely love Ring of Honor, probably for like the past from the beginning of it. Um, that was like, one of the wrestling companies, which is probably why AEW is part of the reason why it is today, and that locks in with a lot of fans that it does that
yeah,
prefer the wrestling. Like that's what Ring of Honor was about. So I would say I hope they get a TV deal, but my guess is I don't think we'll see Ring of Honor on TV until they're branded under AEW's logo and put on Max. That would be my guess.
yeah,
I think they'll be on the Honor Club until then.
yeah. Maybe that's why they haven't gone like a TV deal, like a certain channel or something.
I
So
don't think
could
I don't
be.
think it makes sense for him to do something he doesn't need to do.
No,
Um,
it'd be
when
more content for Max too. So
that's yeah. So
yeah,
these you got to remember these are things that we don't know what they talk about as business partners, and I would say there's probably a good chance that they've discussed putting Ring of Honor on Max. It's just
Mhm.
how they're gonna get there is probably what they're figuring out.
Yeah.
So just some, I'll just ask you some quick little things, and we'll jump off in about 5-10 minutes.
Okay.
What's your least favorite AEW title and your favorite title? This can't count that you can't count the heavyweights. So no AEW heavyweight title.
My least favorite and my favorite.
Yeah, and you can name tag titles, trios, whatever you like.
I don't really have a least favorite. Um, but I guess if I had to choose, it would be the trios championships.
Yeah,
They're just not put on as much. They're not featured as much. That'd be my reason why. But I mean, honestly, I really don't hate any of our championships.
I ain't even about
Uh,
ain't this ain't about
yeah,
hating any of them. I
yeah.
don't hate just
Or
if
just
you had to name
least.
favorite to
Uh,
least favorite, even though you love that one too, just
yeah.
least favorite.
I kind of miss the FTW championship because it gave us kind of like a hardcore
I
championship
like that. I
title.
did like that belt.
Yeah, I wish they would bring it back and make it just like a hardcore title or something. But
Yeah,
I miss
I
that
would.
belt.
I wouldn't have minded. I wouldn't even have minded if they actually like validated it and made it a real title.
Yeah,
I'm saying like I thought eventually they would. It got a little
yeah.
confusing after a little bit.
Looks like they did retire it though. So
Yep, they did.
yeah,
Um, Same thing as you. I don't dislike any of them, but my least favorite would be probably have to be the trios titles. Um, I want to say that the trios and the tag titles I think have hurt each other more than they helped each other since the trios came out in
mm.
AEW. Because the AEW,
Well, they got a rough start, man. Yeah,
yeah, well, I wasn't even gonna throw that on them, but it just I
and
feel
it's
like
true.
that yeah, their tag division was like so amazing
Yeah,
before the trios came, and then I feel like they just had to put a lot of emphasis to bring it into there and a lot amongst the other shit, right?
yeah.
I feel like it just kind of the tag division kind of took a big hit on that, so I would say trios is probably my least favorite. My favorite title. I don't know. I love the TNT title.
I like it too.
I
Yeah,
like that the straps have changed. I know that Brody probably a big part of this. Rest in peace, Brody. But
yeah.
I like the fact that they change it. It's like look different. Um, that's probably my favorite title. I one question about this, right? What do you? Because I don't know if they've ever technically clarified this, nor do I know if they really have to.
Hmm.
Um, But you know how in other companies, like if I was to tell you you have, the heavyweight title, then you got the intercontinental title, and then this is the highest, this is the second most highest, going order. What order would you say the titles are? Like after the AEW title,
Yeah.
what do you think is the second most prestigious title?
It'd be TNT
TNT?
championship, and then it would go continental and then international.
All right.
Uh, yeah, but the international kind of does feel more important than
That's
continental at times. So
Yeah, even at this
yeah,
point, they might feel a little bit more important than the TNT. I don't think at all times they did, but that's why I was asking you that. What is your thoughts on it? Because I thought that the TNT title was it dropped right after that one, right?
hmm
I thought it was supposed to be like the second biggest title, but I
yeah,
feel
it
like
is. Yeah,
right now,
it doesn't
and
feel like it. Yeah,
don't you feel like Okada and Takeshita are ahead of him in the totem pole?
yeah. Um, the
I mean, even
continental
even even I
championship feels important.
Omega has the belt now, but what
Yeah,
even I didn't want to say him because we obviously know who Kenny is, but
yeah.
like
I get what you're
Takeshita,
saying.
yeah, and Okada, I feel like is a little bit up higher than Garcia, which makes me kind of look at them like their belts are probably a little bit more prestigious. But you're right. I thought the TNT title was the second title.
Yeah, I look at the TNT champion. So back in the day, you had WWE championship and you had the world championship.
Yeah,
So I look. AEW World Championship is the World Championship, and I
Right.
always looked at the TNT title as like the AEW Championship. That's kind of how I looked at it since the beginning. Um, I always thought it was this like the second main title. So,
Yeah.
and a lot of people don't think that because I've seen it online and stuff. I just don't know where the mix up came in
Yeah,
because
before they created like a few of those titles and stuff, I thought that they was gonna come out with the women's TNT title and the men's TBS title. And then, they just kind of went like, just went with different belts. But that's what I originally thought was gonna be the thought process because the networks, TNT, TBS, they got the women's, the men's, that's the second highest belt,
yeah,
whatever brand you would be on per se. Um, I kind of don't know why they didn't go that route in the beginning. I think it honestly would have been cool, but then I mean, you can't throw and add in two more belts now, unless
mhm,
unless you do a full-fledged brand split, would be the only way.
yeah. And I
Because
wouldn't bring in those though. I would repackage the TBS and TNT as AEW Championship and AEW or Women's AEW Championship.
that'd
I'd
be yeah.
repackage the TNT and TBS that
Re-
way.
Reason why you think that the network wanted those belts made? Because remember
Yeah,
that, yeah. So that's
but
that's
but now
kind of
they're
what I was,
Max too
yeah.
though, so maybe Max Warner Bros wants something else. So
I mean, what about a Max title?
no,
You
please
don't want to
don't.
do that and give it to
No,
MJF?
no, please don't.
I'm just
That'd
I'm totally
that'd be
being
equivalent of the
sarcastic
speed
right
belt.
there. You
That'd
don't want
be
to make MJF
just.
a belt like you made him a ring.
I mean, that would be cool, but
It
it's
would
MJ.
a- it would be funny. Yeah, after a couple of months, it'd be boring though.
You remember when MJF won the international title and he called it the American title?
Yeah, listen.
The that was cool.
Yeah, that was pretty hilarious.
Yeah.
I guess we can end it on the next question, unless you have anything you want to add in. And we finally hit 100 people watching. Shout out to all of y'all. They
Nice.
still in here
Okay.
riding with us.
Heck yeah. Let's do one more and man, I got to hit the sack, man. Got
Listen,
got to
yeah,
go hit my Z's.
it's 12, it's 12:20 Eastern time, right?
Yeah.
I got work at 4 in the morning, my brother.
God, dang, I got
Yeah,
to get up at like 6, but it's
yeah.
only 11:20 here where I'm at. So
It,
I'll get a good amount of sleep. So,
well, either way, we'll make it through. Catch
yeah.
catch up on sleep after. The last question that I'll throw out there is this. All right. Do you think AEW needs another show or no?
I think a good 1 hour or 2 hour show, yeah. Done right. Whether it be ROH or um I guess that shockwave thing if that
That's
ever
yeah,
comes. Yeah.
yeah. That's
But
I think um I do miss Rampage now that it's not there. But the
you're
one
right.
thing, yeah,
Yeah.
the one thing I will say though is Collision's gotten so much better now that he has less writing duties or
That's
whatever they
true.
got going on.
Collision has been on a roll, bro.
It's
Yeah.
crazy. It's just catching up to Dynamite. Some
Yeah.
weeks
It,
better.
it is. Yeah,
Yeah,
some
so
weeks are better. Yeah.
I would say if Xing out Rampage is what's gonna make Collision another Dynamite, both A shows,
Yeah.
it's worth the
Then you don't
sacrifice.
yeah, then you
'Cause,
don't really need another show.
yeah, we don't. I don't want. I don't want to get another Shockwave Rampage, no matter what the circumstances are, right? And the show's kind of like a C show, and now a Collision is kind of back to like a B, C, bounce around from those kind of show.
Yeah.
The 2 2-hour A shows is fine for me,
I think
right?
they need yeah. I think they need at least a 1 hour show on like a Tuesday or Monday or something. Because us AEW fans that don't watch WWE, we're waiting from Collision Saturday all the way to Wednesday again. So if we
For
had,
sure.
yeah, we used to have AEW Dark and Elevation.
Yeah,
We
for
watched those
sure.
on YouTube on like
For
Mondays and
sure.
Tuesdays, and it
Hell
gave
yeah.
us something to
See,
watch.
I think that the docs, those probably would be more likely for him to do because I think those are easier. Like I
Yeah.
think he could do those and still make Collision an A show. I
Yeah.
think that Rampage was just maybe putting too much on them, especially doing the Ring of Honor. I think that if and I'm not against putting the show on Tuesday, but I would prefer because not only are they on a groove, like Ring of Honor has been pretty good lately too.
Yeah.
So I think that he got a groove on 3 shows. So I feel like just move Ring of Honor to that slot, like fill
Yeah.
it in. So if you want, you got Wednesday, you got Saturday, eh, even whenever you could get Ring of Honor, whatever day to fill it on the week, just get that on there because you
Yeah.
got the right mesh with those 3. I just don't want him to mess with what he got going on right now. That's just my
Yeah.
personal opinion. If he has all new writers and he has a lot of help now, that's different.
Yeah.
You can add it on. But if he's doing all this mainly by himself, stick to what you're doing. It's
Maybe
working.
let RJ City run like a hour-long show or something, see how he does,
Yeah, I'm not against.
Or
Yeah,
bring in somebody else.
I'm
So,
definitely not against that.
yeah.
I just don't want to see a situation where he ends up inevitably have to write again when he really didn't want the show. You know what I'm
You're
saying?
right.
So
Yeah.
that's kind of what it comes down to. But I mean, he's doing so much. I'm sure he could delegate and figure something out. We'll see how it goes. I'm not against it. I just don't want him to mess up what he got going on right now. That's just my personal take.
You're right.
But
Everything's flowing so smoothly right now
yeah,
anyways.
yeah, that's why I wouldn't. If it's not broken,
Don't fix it. Yeah.
what I'm saying, like, find other ways to put more content up. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what I would say about
So
that. Like,
dark
don't
matches would work fine. Like, just
no problem with
give
that.
us something to watch in between Saturday and Wednesday.
And
That's all I'm asking for.
you should have no problem taking someone like Christopher Daniels or Jeff Jarrett and asking them, "Can you just write some doc cards for me?" You
Yeah.
should have no problem no matter what they write.
Mm-mm.
It's just basically exhibitions and tryouts. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's what I would do if you ask me.
Yeah. For
But you got
sure.
anything to shut up before we sign out?
No, I just thank everybody for tuning in and listening to us talk about wrestling. We really
Yes, sir.
appreciate you being here. I just want to let everybody know, have a good night. Uh, and we'll see y'all. We're going to wait till Sunday night to do both collision shows, a
Correct.
repost of that. So Sunday night, we'll be back live stream. So,
Yep. And
yeah,
don't forget to follow Took Timbo
that's
on
right.
uh, all social medias and subscribe on YouTube. Follow me on X at Mob Squad 508. Subscribe on YouTube. We're gonna sign out with 99 of you that stayed on the whole time. That's that Aaron
Awesome.
Donald. Thank all of you. Continue sending the questions, and we'll continue feeding content. Not only are we gonna keep going live, we're gonna start dropping tons of other content in between. So make sure you get the thumbs up on everything and check out videos on both pages. We're gonna try
Yeah.
to mix it up so we have different content coming for you guys daily. And have a blessed one.